How's it going, everybody? We're doing another outdoor pregame show today. It's been a while, but I'll be honest with you, it's been pouring rain all day, and it finally started to clear up and get a little bit sunny, although it's clouding back up. And I said, you know what? I got to get some fresh air. I've been in the studio all day. I'm going to be up late in the studio again tonight. I need my vitamin D. I need some fresh air. So usually I have, when I'm on my computer in my studio, a list of topics and things that I want to talk about. Scooch back towards the middle of the frame. And I don't have that, obviously, so I wrote down some topics here, and I'll just go through them. So about a month ago, maybe less, we did a video titled, it was right out here on this very chair, titled, "Are the Yankees better this year than they were last year?" And at the time, it was looking like they could be, but it wasn't entirely clear. We're now a third of the way through the season, and I think they are. And look, they've blown 5 or 6 leads late in the game. They could easily have 3 to 5 more wins if things went their way. Every team blows leads late in the game at some point. You don't want to say, "Oh, we should have 6 more wins." You give them a couple. We kind of went outrageous with the amount of games that we gave away late in the game over the first several weeks of the season. But let's just give us back half, right? This is a 100-win pace plus. So I think it's clear that the team is more well-constructed. Imagine if they had Garrett Cole. Imagine if they had Garrett Cole. Max Fried has stepped up and been amazing. Carlos Rodon has turned the corner and become a Cy Young caliber pitcher. Had some trouble with the 3-run home run ball earlier in the year, but those problems seem to have vanished. His ERA is under 1.5 over his last 8 starts. I mean, this guy has had a turnaround like you just wouldn't believe. So I think they're absolutely better. Paul Goldschmidt at first base, way better than anything we got out of Anthony Rizzo over the last couple of years. Dominguez, I mean, he's not hitting for a great average, but I think he's been a plus offensively over what we got from Verdugo anyway. And Verdugo, he basically grounded out to second base about 2 or 3 times a game, let's be honest. But he was a good defender. I think we're not quite as good defensively in left. But Bellinger has been a nice pickup. Obviously, we lost Juan Soto. We lost all the numbers he gave us last year. I think it's interesting that, he's down in the 220s now with the Mets. He was getting booed today. But overall, I think this Yankees team might run away and hide in the division, like I said yesterday. And what do I mean when I say run away and hide? Obviously, big leads can be blown. The Yankees came back on the Red Sox in '78. We've seen some big leads go away. But I think in this division, since it's kind of weak, the Rays are kind of okay. The Red Sox are under 500. The Orioles are crap. Blue Jays, man. I think if the Yankees get a 10, 12 game lead, this division is in the bag. I mean, at that point, let's say you get up 12 games by the trade deadline, right? Then you don't have to be desperate in your trades, because you're going to be in the playoffs. You don't have to give up a George Lombard, right? You can be a little bit more patient. I do think that they'll make some additions. I don't know if they're going to go get a starting pitcher. It'll depend a lot on what Luis Gil does, but right now the top of the rotation is looking phenomenal. Clark Schmidt pitching tonight. Now he's a guy that we've been saying this for a while. He needs to get back to that guy he was before he got injured last year. When he went on the shelf with that side injury, he just hasn't been the same since. He was late coming out of spring training this year. It's time for him to turn it on. It really is time for him to turn it on, and tonight's the perfect opportunity. He didn't pitch well against the Rockies last time out, threw way too many pitches, was trying to strike everybody out. I would like to see Clark Schmidt pitch a little bit more to contact, to weak contact. Run that pitch in on the hands of righties, and then that makes that sweeper away a little bit more effective. And the lefties, you can get them out with the sinker, you can get them out with the changeup, and then you can spike the curveball down and in. He doesn't usually hang a lot of curveballs, so you don't worry about him hanging one down and in, but that is a dangerous pitch to lefties if you do hang it. But I'm liking the way this rotation is shaping up, and Clark Schmidt is a major factor going forward in what the Yankees do at the trade deadline. If they're going to go out and get starting pitching, Clark Schmidt could find himself in the bullpen the way that Will Warren has been throwing. So keep an eye out. Let me just go ahead and cross off the first topic. Yeah, we just can't put Devin Williams in the 9th inning ever again. Just never again. I've had enough of it, okay? I'm losing my hair, guys. I can't take it anymore. You got to keep this guy out of the 9th inning. I don't care if you got to put a position player in there. Devin Williams cannot be allowed anywhere near the 9th inning. In fact, We need to start calling him a cab. You're getting off early. You can leave in the 8th inning, right? You get to beat the traffic, Devin. You get to leave early. We don't even want him in the ballpark, in the stadium, in the 9th inning. We don't need that happening in our lives. So Luke Weaver has been pretty much lights out. I mean, he hasn't been perfect, but nobody is perfect, especially closers. You know, when you pitch with the game on the line, everything gets amplified. I think he's done a terrific job. He's had a few not so easy games lately, but I trust him completely with the game on the line. Devin Williams, I'd feel fine in the 7th inning with a 3-run lead. Anything tighter than that, I start to get nervous. Occasionally the 8th inning, maybe against a bum team if you got 3 or 4 runs, or 3-4 run lead, but I don't want him anywhere near the 9th inning. Clayton Beeter could be a factor. This is a guy who's striking out a lot of hitters in the minor leagues. He's got 10 in the 3rd inning so far, I think, in relief, and 16 strikeouts, so he's missing bats. He's got a mid to upper 90s fastball. He's got good stuff. And then there's Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who is, starting pitcher in the minor leagues, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for a dominant starting pitcher with really good stuff to move up through the ranks really quickly and end up being a factor in the bullpen in the second half. See Chamberlain, Jabba. I think that Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, maybe even Ben Hess or Bryce Cunningham, and that might mean the Yankees don't need to go out and pay for a reliever. Maybe they could focus on getting another starting pitcher or another bat for third base. I don't know who really would be available that could help us at third base, but I do feel like we need some help. One thing I have thought about is maybe Jazz Chisholm just goes back to third base, man. I mean, maybe DJ LeMahieu plays second base. You maybe split off time with Yorbit Vivas, who I think we like. I think the consensus among Yankees fans, from what I've seen, is that we think he's going to be a hitter. He hasn't hit a lot yet, but his at-bats are good enough that he's probably going to eventually become a decent hitter. So I feel good about him. I just don't know if he's the answer at third base down the stretch, and I don't know if the Yankees are going to trust him completely at second base down the stretch. We got the Dodgers coming up. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, we're going to have Clint Pasillas on the show. He hosts Dodgers Territory. Talk a little smack back and forth. We'll find out, what's the deal with the Dodgers pitching. They've lost a lot of pitching, but, going back to whether or not the Yankees are better than they were last year, I think if you were to replay the World Series right now with these two teams in their current state, obviously the Dodgers have had some pitching health issues. We knew that was going to happen. Shohei Ohtani is coming back. He'll probably be a factor down the stretch for them. He's throwing to hitters already. I don't have the latest on when he's going to start, but how do you even send him on a minor league rehab assignment? He's leading the league in home runs. Like, how do you send him to Rancho Cucamonga to pitch, right? I mean, you've got to figure out a way for him to get side sessions in and things like that, which isn't the same. It's not the same. And I'm not 100% convinced his elbow is going to hold up, but the Yankees have some decisions to make as we move forward. We're going to have Stanton back soon. We're going to have Jazz back soon. Somebody's going to have to go down to the minor leagues. Ben Rice been swinging the bat, much better than Austin Wells. I mean, do you start to give Rice the at-bats at catcher, Do you send Austin Wells down? Is that unheard of? Austin Wells, that's 8 home runs. He's on pace for 30-plus home runs, Or, probably not that. He's probably on pace for about 25 home runs. But do you send him down? Do you trade him? I mean, there's a lot of value in catchers who can hit, right? I don't want to trade Ben Rice, and I want to keep getting Ben Rice at bats. Next year, I want Ben Rice to be my first baseman, which means that I really don't want to trade Austin Wells. And I don't think that the Yankees would do that to their rotation and send Austin Wells down to the minor leagues after he's gotten to work with everybody. And J.C. Escarra has done such a nice job that really, I mean, you want to keep him on the major league roster too. He's shown to be clutch, and Ben Rice is just crushing the baseball. So it's going to be a conundrum to find him at bats, and I'm not envious of the job that Aaron Boone has to do there. And with Giancarlo Stanton coming back, I'm very curious to see what type of player he is given those elbow injuries, right? This is a guy who had to have, I think, 5 rounds of PRP injections, and he's got a chronic leg condition. I mean, what's he going to look like? And he's going to be using a torpedo bat, which I find interesting. I haven't gone back to look at what he used in the playoffs, but why change it, right? I mean, he was crushing the baseball last year in the playoffs. I'd say use whatever bat that was. And anyway, but they did say it was bat adjustments that caused him to kind of, get injured in the first place. So, we'll see how it shakes out. But I'm looking forward to having Big G back in the lineup against lefties. I think that having G, Judge, and Goldschmidt, the way he's swinging the bat in there against lefties, that will solve our problem against left-handed pitchers, which has existed for the last couple of years. And obviously the way this team hits righties now Judge hits everybody, but Bellinger's been swinging the bat better as of late. Dominguez is basically like an all-star level hitter from the left side. And then you've got Ben Rice, who's dangerous. Austin Wells has shown pop. There's a lot of options, a lot more options than in recent years from the left side. So, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of where my mind is at. It's the Yankees are playing well, but we've got a lot of decisions, and you don't want to disrupt the chemistry of the team. You don't want to disrupt the momentum of some of these guys who are hitting. Grisham, I know he plays a really good center field, but I think his hitting has dipped a little bit recently, and I could see him losing some at-bats here in the near future. But as of right now, I feel like the Yankees are in a very strong position going into this series finale and then the Dodgers rematch. We're going to talk about the bullpen in just a second, but first, a little word from our guys at Foul Territory about Spot and Tango.
Kratz, my pup was picky, not anymore with Spot and Tango Unkibble, and it is about 40% less expensive than frozen food. So we're saving in the wallet and we're making our pups happier.
Let's go apples to apples. I'm not cheap, but I don't want to waste my money on something that's good for my dog. This is perfect.
Yeah, they are very excited. Both Bella, Kratz's pup, and Penelope, my little pup, for Spot and Tango. You can get your pup excited too, and there's no more guessing how much to feed your dog either. Spot and Tango creates a custom plan based on your dog's age, weight, breed, and activity level. It's a nice little survey, so upgrade your pet's bowl with Spot and Tango Unkibble for a limited time. Go to spotandtango.com/foul. Use code FOUL to get 50% off your first order. That's spotandtango.com/foul. Code FOUL for 50% off your first order. Spotandtango.com/foul. Code FOUL.
I am encouraged by a couple of things in the bullpen. One, De Los Santos looks good to me. He throws mid to upper 90s and gets a ton of movement. And his delivery seems kind of weird. It looks like it would be difficult to face. He's kind of, I don't know, he's just kind of all arms and legs. And then Jonathan Loaizaga, another good inning last night. He's come back throwing gas, 98 miles an hour with nasty sink, nasty changeup again. I think the bullpen is improving. Overall, when we talk about Brian Cashman and the job he's done as a Yankees GM, he's had a lot of misses over the years, right? Should have signed Bryce Harper, right? And there's a lot of things that he's done. Probably shouldn't have traded for Giancarlo. That's an interesting debate to have, but you have to give him credit for this team, like recovering from Juan Soto going to the Mets. That could have demoralized the organization. They could have decided, you know what, not our year. Let's save some money. Let's look internally, develop some guys. No, went out and got Bellinger, went out and got Goldschmidt. Mark Leiter's a guy who they picked up last year at the deadline. He's been pretty good for the Yankees. I still don't completely trust him in a big spot, but pickups like De Los Santos, good. Devin Williams, we'll see. Devin Williams is somebody that I could see the Yankees trading. Other teams are looking for relief pitching. If somebody likes what they see from him, maybe you can get a third base prospect for him, somebody who's ready to step in. But, some would argue we've already got that in Vivas, or in Peraza, right? So it's just a lot of moving parts. It can't be easy to be a major league general manager. But I'd say the bullpen and the back end of the starting rotation are the two areas where I'm most worried about. Yarbrough has been great, but is he going to keep that up? He's in his mid-30s. Can he stay healthy? We do have Marcus Stroman out there somewhere. I don't know when he's coming back, if he's coming back. My guess is he'll be DFA'd before too long. Ryan Yarbrough's done such a good job. You don't want to take him out of the rotation. Will Warren has been one of the most elite pitchers in baseball by the Fielding Independent Pitching metric over the last month or so. Clark Schmidt, we're still waiting to turn it around. But overall, I feel really good about this Yankees team headed into this Dodgers series. You'd like to have Garrett Cole. You'd like to see him kind of exercise those demons from Game 5, but it'll have to wait till next year. But enjoy the game tonight, guys. I'll be on live after the game. We'll do a series recap. We'll do a Dodgers series preview. Maybe we'll take a look at some minor leaguers. Let me know in the comments what you want to cover in the post-game show. And obviously, we will be back after the game, as we are every single night here on Pinstripe Territory. Hope you enjoyed this outdoor kind of gray sky edition of the podcast, of the pregame show. I'll see you next time. If you made it this far, do us a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join our community. You can also be a part of the show by calling in at 718-899-1068. Also, part of the way that we maintain and fund all of this is through NYYDesigns.shop. Check it out now. Get all sorts of fun Yankees merch, hats, hoodies, zip-ups, beanies, mugs, you name it. We've got it. Check it out, NYYDesigns.shop. And check out Pinstripe Territory on all your favorite podcast platforms. We are the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We're here for post-game shows after every single game, and we're here before a lot of games to talk about the game, preview the lineup, the pitching matchups, and things like that. And we're here all off-season to talk about the latest in Yankees rumors, news, etc. Join our community. We'll see you next time.